And I'll put you up around the same
All
level.
right.
All
Yep.
right.
That seems good to me.
Feel free to adjust those as you see
Okay.
fit. All right. Good morning, everyone. Hello and welcome to the 2013 USCAA Volleyball National Championships in Canton, New York on the Tourbeau Sports Group Network. My name is John Cabral, joined by Sean Tehan from the Convocation Athletic and Recreation Center here on the campus of SUNY Canton in Canton, New York. But the hosts have since been eliminated from the tournament, and as we move into the semifinals here on Saturday, our first matchup will pit the top-seeded overall Marygrove College Mustangs against a team that has looked tremendous in the other pool, those being the Florida College Falcons, a matchup of the top two teams seed-wise in our tournament. And Sean has got a look at our starting lineups. Welcome aboard, Sean.
Thanks, John. And in the green and gold, but wearing the white with the green lettering for Marygrove College, they will start the defensive specialist and libero, number 2, junior Kara Kempinski. The setter, number 6, junior Nicole Kempinski. The outside hitter, number 8, senior Katharina Hall. The setter, number 10, freshman Haley Jury. The outside hitter, number 12, senior Sarah Sapelsa. The middle blocker, number 13, senior Amelia Velez. And the middle blocker, number 17, junior Kiera Cobbs. Once again, that's Kara Kempinski, Nicole Kempinski, Hall, Jury, Sapelsa, Velez, and Cobbs. And in the black with the red lettering, the Florida College Falcons, the defensive specialist, number 5, senior Paula Rojas. The middle blocker, number 7, sophomore Savannah Gorman. The libero and right side hitter, number 8, senior Olivia Llewellyn. The outside hitter, number 9, junior Malia Kalina. The setter and right side hitter, number 10, senior Laura Smith. The outside hitter, number 16, junior Devin Jackson. And the middle blocker, number 17, senior Camille Krim. Once again, that's Rojas, Gorman, Llewellyn, Kalina, Smith, Jackson, and Krim. The head coaches for both sides, for the Mustangs, Jamie Baker's in her second year, and for the Falcons, Donna Paramore's in her 15th season. Those are the starting lineups for our first game of today's action. Back to you, John.
Thank you very much, Sean. These teams both got here by performing very, very well in pool play. Marygrove going 3-1 in Pool A, losing only to third-seeded Damon, pulling sweeps of Carlo, UC Claremont, and Fayette. Over on the Falcon side, just a scorched earth campaign, sweep victories over Johnson & Wales, Rochester, Lindenwood, Bellevue, and SUNY Canton. Then in yesterday's quarterfinal matchups, Marygrove survived an exhausting matchup with Lindenwood Belleville 3-2. And defeating UC Claremont in straight sets were the Florida Falcons to get to this matchup here today. So these teams will meet down on the court here in just a moment. And Sean, one of the things we found most interesting getting prepared for this matchup is, despite the fact that Florida College obviously coming from down south and Marygrove from Detroit, Michigan, these two did meet earlier this season back on August the 30th in the Northwood Labor Day Volley Fest in West Palm Beach, and Marygrove carried that matchup, a very close match, 3-1. We had a chance to talk about that with both coaches before the game, and it seems like for the most part they're brushing it off.
And it really benefited both sides, John. For Florida College, Coach Donna Paramore talked about, you know what, hey, this was back in August. We had only been together, for 15 days. We were still figuring each other's roles out as a team. And then for Marygrove College, Jamie Baker was talking to us before the game. She was saying, hey, we thought we were going to go into this year with a rebuilding kind of year, but then we defeat the Florida College Falcons, a program that's been the last 4 USCAA national championships. And right there, that's when Coach Baker said, hey, we may have something good here. So it really, in the end, it benefited both sides, but it should be a great matchup right in front of us today, John.
Starting lineups being introduced down on the court, and now we will take a quick break for the playing of our national anthem. Remember, fans, you can capture all the memories and highlights from this national tournament on high-quality video and audio commentary. All matches are available for purchase from Tourbeau Sports. Head over to our website at www.tourbeausportsgroup.com to learn more. That's Tourbeau Sports Group, Tourbeau. John Cabral joined by Sean Tehan, and we have had an opportunity to see these teams perform several times over the last couple of days, and we can certainly tell you it begins and ends with the star players on both sides. It'll be the libero, the junior number 2, Kara Kempinski on the Marygrove side, and you've had a chance to take a lot of good looks at number 16, Devin Jackson, over on the Florida College side. Tell us about Jackson, her injury situation, and what we can expect to see today.
Well, Devin Jackson had a knee injury. It's been bothering her, according to head coach Donna Paramore. It's been bothering her the previous 2 weeks, but asking Coach Paramore before the game, hey, if she can go, if she has to play 5 games, could she go? And Donna Paramore just gave the nod. Yes, she's ready to go. She's all good. She actually left early in that sweep yesterday in the quarterfinals over, I believe it was SUNY Canton, and she actually left. She was out for the entire third game. Falcons still able to sweep, but she sounds ready to go. I mean, that was an All-American player as a sophomore last year. Very, very important on the Falcons side.
And then if you tuned into the action yesterday for Marygrove's early game with Fayette, I reported on an apparent knee injury to Kara Kempinski, a player who plays just with reckless abandon the entire time. Spoke with her head coach before the game got started. Apparently not a knee injury, rather to her ankle, but said that her competitive spirit is such that nothing is going to keep her from playing in this match. And you see it off to the right-hand side of your screen right here. Kempinski will get it started with her serve, and we are underway in the semifinal round of the 2013 USCAA National Championship. Nicole Kempinski setting up, soft tap by Velez, Florida College ready for it. Set to the outside, spike attempted there by Kalina, unsuccessful, and the hit is long out of bounds. First point goes to Marygrove.
And we've seen Malia Kalina. She's been so good on the attacks this entire tournament, just a little bit beyond the baseline. You're going to see, though, she's going to have some impressive plays along the front line for the Falcons all day.
Kempinski gets an awfully long start into her serve, takes a long distance behind the court, gets that one in play, and dives cannot quite get to that one. Falcons even it at 1 aside, and this is probably what we can expect to see throughout, as now Paula Rojas will go in place of Charlotte Worsfold, and Rojas will step back to serve. A 5'3" senior from Orlando, Florida, with a right-handed floater to the back line. Set up by Nicole Kempinski to the outside. Sapelsa too long with that hit, 2-1. And that's something that's plagued a lot of teams in this tournament, Sean, is a lot of hits just going out of bounds long or too far out to the side, giving away some points that way.
And it's just a matter of just misplaying it slightly. I mean, obviously Sapelsa knows she's going to have to adjust, come a little bit more down on that ball at the point of attack. And that's what the better teams have done, though, and that's why these two teams are here, as Sapelsa gets that point, Velez actually out of bounds. But these two teams are so good at adjusting to critical mistakes.
So Rojas looking to get on a hot streak early with 2 successful serves turned into points in a row. Marygrove looking to side out early to prevent a big lead from going the other way, and a nice soft set there by Kara Kempinski achieves that end, and now Sapelsa will have a chance to make up for her error from the service line. Sapelsa wearing a pretty heavy-duty brace on her left knee here today, as these players have gotten banged up playing a lot of games over these last couple of days, but looking to make their way through one more day of intense competition. Kempinski over to Hall, tapped up at the net, set to the far side. Kempinski able to save that, but over to the scorer's table, give the kill to Malaya Kalina. And has she ever looked good in the opening moments of this one? Substitutions on both sides.
And Malia Kalina, in my opinion, she's probably on her way to the all-tournament team once we wrap up later this afternoon.
Serve off to the right. Nicole Kempinski able to keep it up. Kara Kempinski gets it over. Might have gone out of bounds, but played on and will continue. Hit from the long side, goes off of Natalie Toeth-Watkins and out of bounds. Watkins wishing she had that one to do over again. May have let that go. Nonetheless, another point for Florida. And Olivia Llewellyn back to the service line with her Falcons leading 5-2. So Marygrove scoring the opening point, but all Falcons since then. Set to the near side, and the spike driven home by Katharina Hall, a senior outside hitter from Livonia, Michigan, and Henry Ford Community College. Now, Drea Pappas checking in for the Mustangs, a 5'10" sophomore out of St. Clair Shores, Michigan, who will play up on the front line as Nicole Kempinski delivers her serve. Set to the near side and slammed home. Guess who? Malaya Kalina has really made this game one her own in the opening moments.
Coach Donna Paramore, even before the game, asking her about that front line, and Malaya Kalina has been outstanding in replacing last year's All-American Carrie Taylor on the outside, and Carrie Taylor was a 4-time All-American for the Falcons, a 3-time tournament MVP, and once again, I mean, the Falcons front line is just too good, too deep, and way too talented.
Watkins having a tough time on that back line for Marygrove, and she will be the victim of a quick hook as freshman Alicia Adkins will go out to relieve her, a 5'3" defensive specialist out of Melvindale, Michigan. And they'll need her defense right away as they target her on the serve. It's long, and Adkins wisely steps out of the way, takes the free point. And Kiera Cobbs will now check in to give Kara Kempinski in what I'm sure will be a rare moment on the bench here today. Velez with the serve. Set up to the outside, blocked on the spike attempt by Jackson. Jackson will try again here and drops it in just in front of a diving Adkins. Falcons take the point, both teams arguing. Right now 7-4 is our posted scoreboard score as the officials confer. And that will be a Florida College point. No, they're sending the ball under the net. And now it'll go back to Velez. And 7-4 will be our score. Marygrove gets the point and will continue the serve. Whistle before that spike. Going to call a carry there on Florida. Mustangs taking advantage of a couple of whistles here to get back within 2.
And Laura Smith just cupping that ball a little bit too much on the Falcons side.
Quick answer from Devin Jackson as she registers a kill, again targeting Adkins, the freshman, cross court. Substitution over on the Florida side. Charlotte Worsfold will step back in onto the front line, replacing Paula Rojas. Laura Smith at the service line, a 5'8" senior from Brandon, Florida, sends that one over everything. And Marygrove not playing its best right now, Sean, but able to hang around thanks to some mistakes over on the Florida side.
You got to think the familiarity with the Falcons really helps the Mustangs. And Marygrove not only has familiarity with the Falcons, I mean, they've played a lot of teams in this USCAA national tournament.
Tip at the net gives the point to Florida College. Camille Krim will go back to serve, a 6-foot senior middle blocker from Madison, Indiana. Krim sends that one on. Kempinski's pass it among themselves, and Cobb able to come up with a kill. 2-point game again at 9-7. Florida seems to be playing the better game one, but they're not finding any room to go off and hide. As coming in to serve is Haley Jury. Marygrove will make that substitution a lot, swapping Jury and Pappas. Jury a front-finning serve over to the right side. Jackson gets blocked at the net, goes out of bounds, but touched on the Marygrove side. So Jackson registers another spike and will go back to serve.
I think that knee looks okay for Devin Jackson, John. She's been huge so far in the first half of the first game.
Kempinski to the near side for Sepelsa, who again errant with her hard hit out of bounds.
And Devin Jackson, though, last year as a sophomore, named to the USCAA first team as an All-American. One of the better players in all the USCAA.
Kempinski gets it over with a right-handed hit. Set to Jackson, saved by Kempinski. You'll see a lot of that today. Kalina drops that one in front of a diving Kempinski. Falcons pick up the tally and now lead by 5 suddenly at 12-7.
The thing is, Kalina, when she's on the attack, that ball is coming off so fast. There's so much velocity. Even when it's blocked, it causes a bit of a stir on the opposing side, even if it is blocked, just because they'll find an open hole in the middle of the Marygrove defense.
Sepelsa rejected. Kempinski's sister's able to keep it up. Cobbs gets it over. Mustangs will regroup from the middle. Soft tap. Sepelsa can't quite get there. Great diving play by Kara Kempinski, as you're seeing the value she adds to that Mustang defense, just covering a ton of ground on the floor. But it isn't translating to the scoreboard right now, as Florida College leads 13-7 with the timeout. We'll take it as well. You are watching Tourbeau Sports Group Network's coverage of the 2013 USCAA Volleyball National Championships. Welcome back to the CARC at SUNY Canton, where the Florida College Falcons have opened up a Game 1 lead of 13-7 over the Marygrove Mustangs in an anticipated rematch after these two played each other back in the early part of their season in a tournament down in Florida. Devin Jackson into the serve. Nicole Kempinski sets. Cobbs slams it over. Kept up. Here's Jackson again. Set over to Sepelsa. Dug out by Jackson. To the right side, Kalina finds way too much room on the backside of the floor. Marygrove just giving away too much space for Kalina to target there.
That's situational awareness. I mean, we saw it previously heading into the Marygrove timeout with Savannah Gorman. The situational awareness along this Falcons front line is just unbelievable.
Cobbs going for a spike. Blocked straight up at the net. Kalina drives it over, drops it just in front of Katharina Hall.
Malia Kalina, 335 kills coming into the USCAA tournament on the year. Good for second best in the USCAA, and she has not let up at all through this three-day tournament.
Can't let up in tournament play like this.
Never.
Team so good. Set to the near side, and that one going to find a home as well. Give the kill to Charlotte Worsfold. And it seems like what's really setting Florida apart from other teams in this tournament is they have not only height at the net, but a lot of leaping ability, and like you said, a lot of awareness as to what's called for at any given moment.
And the Falcons really, I mean, they know when to spike. They know when to just dink it over the net. And just that's what separates really the best teams from the good teams is frontline play, and we've seen that so often. That's why both these teams are really here. The front lines have been excellent. Falcons really, though, outplaying the Mustangs right now.
Cobbs there with a misfire from the front line. We've seen plenty of that from the Mustang front line today. Sepelsa, though, able to kill that one right on cue. And so Mustangs briefly down by double digits, get it to single digits again at 17-8, and they've now made it through a full rotation. You'll see Kara Kempinski will go all the way back on the track. Over in Dana Hall, she would back up all the way to the padded wall before running forward into her serve. And you see a very long, lofting serve, then running back into her position. Molina blocked the net. Nicole Kempinski to the middle. Velez rejected. And a big point there for Florida College, as it seemed like the Mustangs were controlling, but they very quickly turn it into a tally and go back in front 18-8.
And Kara Kempinski, I mean, she has the ability to cover so much ground. Florida College head coach Donna Paramore actually thought that Kara Kempinski is actually the best libero in all of the USCAA, but it's just too hot to handle right now for Kempinski and the Mustangs.
They'll fake to Kalina, keep it in the middle, but the attempt by Gorman gets blocked. Now here is Kalina. Kempinski, a diving play. They need to play it off the net. And they're unable to. Sepelsa again unable to reach one in front of the scorer's table. 19-8 the score. Kempinski certainly keeping those balls alive, but just isn't getting the support, especially on those net plays. 19-8 now the score. Set up and give the kill to Velez. Touched on the front line. Florida College making a substitution as Rojas comes back on. Sepelsa over to serve, and Sepelsa needs to get on a run for the Mustangs if they're to make a game of game number one, as they trail 19-9. Soft tap. Kempinski hits it underneath the net. That won't do. And it's an 11-point lead for Florida College. as Alyssa Adkins checks back on for the Mustangs, and Camille Krim comes back in on the front line for Florida College. Olivia Llewellyn back to serve. She's very successful her first time through. Hall tapping that off her wrist, and that's going to be the end of that. 21-9 now, Falcons in front, and looks like they're well on their way to scoring an important first match victory. Now remember, if you've been watching pool play these last couple of days, this is not the best out of 3 to which we've grown accustomed. This will be best out of 5, like you see in most tournaments here today.
Still plenty of games left here, John. I mean, this is nowhere near over, despite the Falcons, dominance really in this first game.
And there you see exactly what we're talking about with Kara Kempinski. Really had no chance of keeping that ball alive and no chance of converting it. Still diving all the way over to her own bench as another timeout gets called right here. 22-9. Now the score in favor of the Falcons as they look to take game 1 in a rout. We will step aside briefly. You're watching live exclusive coverage of the 2013 USCAA Volleyball National Championships on the Tourbeau Sports Group Network. Don't forget, fans, you can capture all the memories and highlights from this national tournament on high-quality video and audio commentary. All matches are available for purchase from Tourbeau Sports. Head over to our website at www.tourbeausportsgroup.com to learn more. All Falcons in game 1 as Olivia Llewellyn goes back to serve. Velez going for a kill, kept alive. Nicely done by Krim, finding a way to keep that up. Looked like it might have even hit her elbow on the way back up into the air. Kempinski needs to bump that over, and she will. Contest at the net, ends up on Florida's side, so the Mustangs finally crack double digits here. Jury will come back out to be replaced by Pappas. Pappas will play the front line as they won't need Jury to serve for a while. Oh, wow, that's a bad pun. I never saw that one coming. Nicole Kempinski now to serve. Gets it in play. Set to the outside, blocked at the net. And you see the impact immediately that Drea Pappas has coming back into the game, gives them more leaping ability up front, and they're able to put together a second straight point and still keeping their slim hopes alive in game 1.
And the Mustangs are really taking advantage of some poor sets right there by the Falcons front line, as really the Falcons just kind of served up an easy point for the Mustangs front line on the last 2 sequences.
Kalina back. Played nicely by Adkins. And again, Pappas able to come up with another point from the right side. So Drea Pappas usually does a timeshare with Haley Jury, but got to wonder if Coach Baker will ride her here, given how successful she's been coming up with back-to-back tallies. 22-12 now the score. Diving play, that'll go the wrong way in toward the bleachers. Great effort given by Laura Smith, the senior.
And that ball right there looked like it just kind of went too high off the arm of Malia Kalina. A couple poor setups for the Falcons. They got to regain their focus.
Momentum is swung here out of the timeout. Now a 9-point contest, 22-13. But a deflection of the net will drop that into no man's land. Camille Krim coming up with the kill. Falcons with a chance to close it out now, leading 23-13. Malaya Kalina will go back to serve. Kalina over to Hall. Kempinski to the outside. Pappas. Falcons ready for it. They hit long and out of bounds, though. So we're not done yet. 23-14. Cobbs comes back on. Kara Kempinski to the bench. So a lot of height up front now with Cobbs and Pappas both out there. Velez the serve. Cobbs jumps for it and is able to slap it past Paula Rojas, who just did not see it coming, perhaps literally, as she gives away a lot of height back there, and that ball came down so quickly. Just no time to make an adjustment. 23-15 now. Velez to serve again. And the far side, Jackson blocked by Cobbs, and Cobbs has made an immediate impact since coming in off the bench.
Well, the thing is also, I mean, Cobbs is playing very well, but the Falcons are just serving it right up for her. I mean, they are setting her up perfectly for easy kills.
Velez looking to make it 3 in a row in a 23-16 game. Another block at the net, this time by Katharina Hall. On the right side, another hit by Krim, and she's able to drop that one down in front of Nicole Kempinski to stop the rally, at least for now, for the Mustangs. So the Mustangs have rebounded nicely since that timeout, but they're running out of time here as they need to score the next 8 in a row in order to establish some margin for error as they trail 24-16 right now as Laura Smith attempts to serve for the Game 1 win. Cobbs for the spike. It's out of bounds, and Florida College takes set number 1 by a score of 25-16. So, Sean, after this first game, seeing more or less what you would expect given what we've seen from these two teams so far in this tournament, as it seems like Florida is just a little bit of a notch above the level that everyone else is competing at right now, but it also looks like there are some tweaks that Marygrove can make to be competitive in Game 2 and going forward.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the Falcons, they raced ahead to a 22-9 lead in this game. It looked like this was going to go in the Falcons' favor, but the Mustangs, give credit to Coach Jamie Baker's squad, really doing a great job at the end finishing. They outscored the Falcons 7-3 in the final 10 points. The Falcons now lead this series 1-0, but really the Mustangs, you can't count them out. They're sticking with it. Kiera Cobbs is playing great along that front line. The Falcons kind of seem like they lost their focus a little bit. Devin Jackson, she's really stepped up though. As long as she stays on the floor, the Falcons have a real good opportunity to move on to their 5th straight national championship.
The Falcons really aren't bashful about tipping their offensive strategy, are they? They'll go to Jackson, they'll go to Kalina until you can stop it.
And then they'll go to Savannah Gorman and Camille Krim as well. I mean, it's just a beautiful setup. And really, Laura Smith, the senior setter, does an excellent job of setting up her front line. She's averaging 9.5 assists per set this year. That was best on the team, the best average on the team, and second best average in all of the USCAA coming into this tournament on Thursday.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back with Game 2. You're watching live exclusive coverage of the 2013 USCAA Volleyball National Championships on the Tourbeau Sports Group Network. Welcome back to the CARC on the campus of SUNY Canton in Canton, New York, where the Florida College Falcons have made a statement in Game 1 in their rematch with Marygrove. Winner of this one advances to the 2013 USCAA Championship game, which will be held here at about 4 p.m. if all goes according to plan here this afternoon. The loser will be eliminated from the tournament and will compete in the third place game around 2 p.m. this afternoon. And Marygrove looking to get themselves back into it here. How important is it for them to even it up right here and not follow into the 2-0 hole?
Oh, it's incredibly important because the Falcons, I mean, they've been sweeping through all the competition. I mean, through pool play. Yesterday against the University of Cincinnati Claremont, they dominated the first 2 games. Cincinnati Claremont made a run in that third game, but really the Falcons just too much to handle for the Cougars, and that's why the Cougars are back home and the Falcons are here.
Cobbs shut down there by Malaya Kalina at the net on the first point. And Falcons picking up right where they left off with Devin Jackson serving. Jury to the outside for Supelsa, who again misfires out of bounds. 2-0 lead for Florida, and that's something these outside hitters have got to correct. not just Sapelsa, but everyone playing those positions for Marygrove seems like they're losing a lot of points on the wrong side of the white lines.
Frontline play, I mean, we talk about it over and over. It's frontline play is so important, and it's really what separates the best teams from the good teams. And the Falcons' front line is very good, and obviously the Mustangs have to match that similar intensity and similar style if they're going to even this series up at 1 apiece.
Rare service error there by Devin Jackson, cuts it to 2-1. Now Kara Kempinski will try to tie. Floater, Jackson dives to keep it alive. Soft tap, Sapelsa can't get there, and it's 3-1.
Sapelsa, the senior outside hitter for the Mustangs, struggling a little bit from the start. She's one of only 4 returning players for head coach Jamie Baker's team. And she's got to play, she's got to improve a little bit. She's misplayed some balls so far in these first 2 games.
Paula Rojas with the serve, and too much on the hit from Savannah Gorman. So Marygrove, without a kill, still within 1 here at 3-2, cashing in a couple of miscues. And Sapelsa will try to bring them back to even. Set up to the near side, Kalina. Jury keeps it up. Need to get it over. Nicole Kaminsky delivers. Set to the far side, blocked at the net, and Katharina Hall comes up with a key block there. And despite the struggles, Marygrove right there, tied at 3.
Great job up front by both Hall and Amelia Velez, combining on the block and evening this score up at 3 points apiece.
Kalina blocked at the net. Mustangs keeping it alive. Velez going for the kill and keeps it in bounds. It's exactly what we're talking about, those outside hitters from Marygrove needing to place those big hits. And there's a successful one for Velez, who's been one of their best players this season. Now they enjoy a lead for the first time in game 2, 4-3. Kalina, that time blocked, but up over everything and back onto the track, so it's a very short-lived lead for the Mustangs. As we're now even at 4, and service will be rolled over to Olivia Llewellyn, the libero for Florida College. Hall over everything, out of bounds. 5-4 Mustangs, 5-4 Falcons.
And Katharina Hall, 243 kills this year coming into the tournament. Second best on the team. Just a little bit too high again over the net and beyond the end line.
Alyssa Adkins back out on defense. Hall going to the tap. Rojas keeps it up. Set to the middle, blocked back. And the rejection of the attempt by Camille Krim results in a Marygrove point. Game now tied. Jury will step out. Pappas goes back into the front line.
And you saw this at the end of the first game, John, with the Mustangs front line really improving up front on the line defense, blocking away attacks from Camille Krim and Malia Kalina. An excellent job right there by Krim as she dinks it over. So the front line play has definitely taken a step up since the beginning of game 1 for the Mustangs.
Diving play by Nicole Kaminsky there, but in vain as no one was there for the carom. Leia Kalina serves over. Kaminsky sets across. To the near side for Jackson. Jackson misses wide to the left.
And that was a really nice setup right there from Laura Smith.
Sure was.
To Devin Jackson. Jackson obviously trying to find that hole in the Mustangs side of the court, but well defended by the Mustangs, and it causes the errant shot.
Amelia Velez trying to give the Mustangs the lead again. Knotted at 6 here in game 2. Falcons with a 1-0 lead. Misplayed by Alyssa Adkins, who was trying to set it forward. Didn't get it off both hands at the same time, though. And the Falcons jump back in front by a point at 7-6. Rojas out. And back to serve Laura Smith. Smith puts it across to Kaminsky, set outside for Cobbs. They're going to call Nicole Kaminsky for a carry. Just got a little too low with her hands there. Trying to get a lot on the pass outside to Cobbs, and got a little too low, so now an 8-6 score in favor of Florida.
And a rare error right there for Nicole Kempinski. Florida Falcons coach Donna Paramore talking very highly of both Kempinskis, as the other Kempinski, Kara Kempinski, with an error right there on the dig attempt. But talking very highly of both those players before the game, said Kara Kempinski and Nicole Kempinski were probably the best libero and setter respectively in the USCAA.
Set to Cobbs, and Cobbs comes up with a kill there at an important point in the match, Sean, because this is about where game one ran off the rails for Marygrove. So an important point there to keep themselves close at 9-7.
Now, Kiara Cobbs has played very strong up front. 258 kills, that was best on the team coming into the tournament. She actually holds the school record for kills in a match with 21. She did that against Grace Bible College.
Jackson coming up with a kill there, contested at the net, but got a lot of mustard on it. It's Florida coming up with the point to take a 10-7 advantage. And now dropping back to serve is Camille Krim. Krim a forward spinning. Serve gets across, returned already. Florida with a tap. Kempinski able to get it over. Usually this will set up a good-looking spike. It does, but Marymount able to keep it afloat for the time being. Kempinski gets it over. Set to the near side, just too much space, and Jackson exploits it again.
It's just an awesome rotation that Coach Paramore has in that front line. You can't key on Kalina. You can't key on Camille Krim. You can't key on Savannah Gorman. You can't key on Devin Jackson. It's just, it's so consistent and it's so successful for the Falcons. And I mean, Coach Donna Paramore just has just great assets along that front line and on the outside for her Falcons team.
So 11-7 now the score here in the middle phases of game number 2. And Marygrove at a crossroads here, because if they're not able to get momentum back out of this timeout, they're going to find themselves looking up at some deficits that you're not going to want to deal with. I mean, not that they can't come back. It's not a statement on their level of talent, but Florida has just been so fundamentally sound that they strike you as a team that if you spot them an 8 or 9 point lead, they're just not going to make enough mistakes to allow you to come back.
They're just one of those elite teams. And I mean, Marygrove College, you gotta recognize also their ability to fight adversity. I mean, they had a 2:30 game in pool play. They played immediately after that in the quarterfinals of the USCAA national tournament, and it took them 5 games to defeat Lindenwood Belleville yesterday. So they can handle adversity. So, but you're right, John. The play definitely has to improve. They cannot let the Falcons race ahead to a comfortable lead and put themselves in an 0-2 hole.
Well-placed hit by Pappas as she steps back out to allow Jury to serve, so the Mustangs get the first one. I'm going to stop saying that, I swear. 11-8 now the score. Jackson from the near side has it stopped by Hall. Now Sepelsa set up in the air, back to the near side. Another try for Jackson. That time drops it in just in front of Hall. First time Hall was able to get well positioned in front of it and dig it out. This time just caught back on her heels a little bit.
And I think Katharina Hall right there, she's really got to adjust. She's got to take a couple steps forward. I mean, the worst case scenario goes over your head, it goes out of bounds, but she's got to be ready for that low dig attempt. Backline defense, I mean, that is your job. Make sure nothing gets behind you or nothing falls in front of you.
Jackson with a second service error, not something I would have expected coming into the matchup today, and those 2 bonus points for the Mustangs, keeping them in it as they trail 12-9 right now. Kara Kempinski serving to Jackson. Bump to the near side. Kalina, diving play by Kempinski. Her sister comes to her aid. Sepelsa will get it over. Set from out in front to the middle, driven down. Jury keeps it afloat. Kempinski will get it over. Again, Falcons going this time to the far side, past Kempinski in front of Hall. Knocked down by Charlotte Worsful.
And once again, that's Hall. If we have another break in the action, we have another timeout, I wouldn't be surprised to see Jamie Baker, tell her player, Katharina Hall, the senior outside hitter, take a couple steps up.
We've talked about Marygrove going to the jumpers up front. We're seeing Ashley Murphy for the first time today, a 5'11 freshman out of Southfield, Michigan, wearing number 5. Velez gets a tap on that one. Set back to Jackson, tipped the net. Mustangs will send it back over as it spins over the net, kept up. Nice play, and the hit is long. Nice job nonetheless by Laura Smith to keep that one alive.
Yeah, Laura Smith, just kind of an all-purpose kind of talent for Coach Donna Paramore. She's best, though, when she's dishing off to her front line of Falcons.
Big time block at the net by Velez. The Mustangs back within 2 now at 13-11.
The Mustangs, they got to ride this momentum right now and possibly tie this game up at 13 apiece and maybe even take a lead. Very, very crucial point in this match.
Great save by Kempinski. The Mustangs will get this one over. Jury able to set it across. To the near side, Kalina just out of the reach of Jury and Hall. Sapelsa steps out. Adkins will come in for defense. Olivia Llewellyn to the service line. 14-11 the Falcon lead. Set by Jury to the near side for Murphy. Tipped at the net, kept alive. Soft tap, Kempinski ready for it. A bump, can Velez get it over? No, hitting it straight into the net. Blocked straight back. And Florida comes up with a pivotal point there, now ahead 15-11. Big swing there, as Marygrove definitely had a chance to compete for that point. Would have been looking at a 14-12 game plus the serve. Now they're going to need to side out just to cut it to 3.
It's just the ball bouncing really in the favor of the Falcons right there. It's just excellent play on both sides, and as that happens, the Mustangs get a point back.
Got to Rojas very quickly, who tried to dive for it, just couldn't get an angle to keep the ball afloat. Nicole Kempinski checks back in, as does Drea Pappas. Kempinski will serve with her team trailing by 3. Right side hit, too long by Camille Krim. And the Mustangs starting to put something together again, hanging around in this second game, trailing 15-13 after losing the first one 25-16. From the back line, here's Jackson. Puts a floater to Kempinski. Nicole Kempinski puts it forward. Velez tries to sneak a set in, does not work. Block at front, but it lands on the Marygrove side of the net. Camille Krim coming through with the spike.
And Amelia Velez, a great job getting those arms up and getting that block. She's averaging half a block a set this year. That's second best on the team to Kiera Cobbs.
Beautiful play by Adkins to keep that one going, but the hit across goes out of bounds. Falcons coming dangerously close to pulling away here in game 2 in this best 3 of 5. Falcons already with a 1-0 lead. Kempinski just barely able to keep that one going. She'll bump it across. Mustangs will try to regroup. Hit to the outside. Slammed down, but was it in bounds? No, it was not. Just narrowly missing was Camille Krim.
And the Falcons players are thinking that the Mustangs actually tipped that. So we're going to get the officials on a timeout. The officials are going to talk it over, and this could be reversed.
The officials will confer now.
And they'll talk to Captain Devin Jackson, and all the players immediately went to the head official up top asking for an official timeout, possibly a point difference, maybe giving that point to the Falcons, taking one away from the Mustangs, and that'd be huge. I mean, if this is reversed, Falcons would go up by 5.
This is one thing I just have not understood about this tournament. If players complain about calls all the time in every sport, but it seems like if you complain loudly enough, you can bring the game to a grinding halt.
If you present a great case, it's worth listening to, I guess.
17-14. The tap lands. They need some help from Adkins to get it over. She provides it, and the point remains contested. Jackson slaps one past Adkins, fits it in bounds. Really threaded the needle there to Jackson, and it's a 4-point lead again for Florida College.
And there's really nothing, John, that Alyssa Adkins could do about that. That was just a perfect location on that kill by Devin Jackson. I mean, she put it in a spot where no one else could get it for the Mustangs, and just great awareness right there by the junior outside hitter.
Kara Kempinski flying over with a right-handed hit. Now from the middle, Camille Krim gives Alyssa Adkins too much to handle as it bounces in front of her. Timeout call. Donna Paramore very excited over on the Florida College side, and understandably so. Her team just 6 points away from a 2-0 lead. We'll take a quick break and come right back. You're watching live exclusive coverage of the 2013 USCAA Volleyball National Championships on the Tourbeau Sports Group Network. Welcome back to the CARC at SUNY Canton. 19-14 the lead for the Florida College Falcons as they try to take a commanding 2-0 lead in this best-of-5 semifinal. Laura Smith in to serve. Puts that one over, and that'll be an ace. Right off the fists of Katharina Hall behind the Marygrove bench. Now 20-14, the Falcon lead.
And I really don't think that Hall was expecting that to get over the net. That just skimmed right over this suspended net here at SUNY Canton, and as the Falcons get another point right there.
Pappas blocked there. Cobbs couldn't keep it alive. Falcons now up at touchdown at 21-14.
Football. I like it, John.
Cobbs back to Kempinski. He's got to get a lot on that to get it over. She does. Pass to Jackson. Jackson stood up at the net. Big time block there by Cobbs, and that keeps the Mustangs going at 21-15. It's probably their last chance to get on a run here as Adkins will come out. Sepelsa back in. Hall back to serve. Kempinski sisters in the back line. Serve across. Jackson from the center has it tipped up at the line. Kempinski able to get it with a flat hand to keep it over. And Marygrove still going here. Saved by Jackson, and then a miscue as two players collide with one another at the mid-level. And incredible work there by the sisters Kempinski and probably keeping that ball alive. When you can do that, sometimes good things happen, and that was an instance of it right there.
I don't even know how Kara Kempinski was able to save that. She just got one hand sliding underneath that volleyball.
And what she noticed there was she's so accustomed to that she's learned not to try to go at it in the typical volleyball stance with your wrist facing up. She just puts her hand, the palm of her hand, down on the ground, lets the ball bounce off the back of her hand, and lets teammates do whatever they can after that. 22-16 now the score. That one gets slammed home just outside the dive of Nicole Kempinski. 23-16 the Florida lead. And now zeroing in on the victory is Camille Krim. Program note, we will have to interrupt the broadcast very briefly after this game ends. We'll do that immediately when the game comes to a conclusion. We will get the broadcast up as quickly as we're able. Going to try to turn it over during the 3-minute timeout between matches so that you don't miss any game action. Hit at the net, blocked at the net, and it will be a Mustang point. They're within 6 at 23-17. Pappas out, Jury back in. Kempinski out, Murphy back in. Jury jumps into a right-hand floater. Set up in front to the outside, blocked at the net. Cobbs going up for it with Murphy as well, and the Mustangs refusing to go quietly in game 2, 23-18 now the score. Jury's serve gets a piece of the net but makes it over. And killed by right in front by Sepelsa. Jackson a little timid coming up to the net there, and Sepelsa was able to just spill it right over the front of the net.
And Jackson trying to avoid some kind of net violation. Sorry to interrupt you, John.
23-19 now the score. Jury with another serve with the ball returned. Jackson very quickly corrects the mistake and now has match point. 24-19 the score. Florida looking for a 2-0 lead. Set in front. Cobbs gets it across. Set up to the near side. Kalina for the win. Has it blocked, and the block lands out of bounds. Very, very close on the sideline, but the ruling is out of bounds, and it's a 25-19 Game 2 victory for Florida College. We're going to have to step aside, refresh your browsers. We'll be right back. You're watching live exclusive coverage of the 2013 USCAA Volleyball National Championships on the Tourbeau Sports Group Network.